All right, welcome to the Kings of the Village. I'm Stefan. Today, and only today, we'll be talking about this Sean Diddy thing, but it's really not the focus today of Sean. The focus is not Combs, right? Not at all. I think it's a bigger picture of what we're willing to deal with, the human side of things. We know by now, or at least most of us know, that Diddy will be facing up to 20 years if convicted, right, on the prostitution charge. He was let go on some of the bigger things, which would have got him life in prison, right? They pleaded, it's like, oh, Kim Porter, my ex lady, she passed away a couple of years ago, and these children have no parent. So they're arguing that we need to go ahead and expedite this sentence. The sentencing was initially supposed to happen in September. They got it moved to, I think, October 1st or the 3rd or something. Um, and he's already been in prison about 10 months, right? For all the things he did. I'm not disputing any of that. And that's what any of this is about. The jury came back on this split decision about, the tougher things he was on for racketeering and all kind of stuff. But then he got convicted on prostitution charges. And I believe says the maximum sentence was facing 20 years in prison on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitutions, though it was possible that he received less time since it's a first time conviction. Here's what I'm saying about all of this, with this crazy stuff going on with Diddy. A lot of people, now that this has come out, are saying that they knew about this stuff about Diddy, which brings me to my bigger point. The point is that if you want to benefit, you normally don't say anything. Most of us in the world are here for a bag, unless you're like my mom, who's a really good person. If you are the common person like me and you're out here working for a living, this probably pertains to most of you. Now, a lot of you will say out loud and will never admit to what I'm going to admit to. But a lot of you are like, oh my God, I could never do anything like this. It's not true. I would never be this person. If you had an opportunity to be Cassie, you would be Cassie. If you had an opportunity to stay in a situation where you could end up getting $33 million or whatever they settled for, which probably was 10 or 20, you would probably do it. You're not that great of a person. You will sit and believe that you're this really good, solid person. Like, there's no way in hell I would let a man abuse me or do these things to me or pee on me or scat on me or whatever the words are. You're lying. The truth of the matter is, people get around people who they know they can benefit from. I don't care who you are. And so a lot of people will seek out celebrity. A lot of women hang out at basketball courts, these NBA games or NHL, NFL, whatever it is. And the likelihood of something happening to them is probably about 99.9%. The likelihood of them getting cheated on, beat. Now, I'm not advocating for violence in any capacity. I'm not saying any of this stuff is good in any capacity. But the truth of the matter is, you know good and damn well you would stay for a payday. A lot of these motherfuckers are already getting their ass whooped every day, and they work at Taco Bell. So you mean to tell me if you had an opportunity to get with a celebrity, you wouldn't stay, even though you know what type of behavior he was on, even though you know what kind of time he was on? There is no way that you wouldn't. Just like this Tyler Perry situation where the actor that worked in one of Tyler Perry's sitcoms and movies, I'm not saying his name because it's all alleged, but he concluded that, oh, I went back to Tyler Perry's room and he tried to force himself on me. And then I went back to the room to talk it out. Child, please. You went there because you knew this man was powerful and wealthy. What probably happened is Tyler Perry allegedly probably did try to make some moves on, because it ain't like it's a secret that Tyler Perry ain't one of the part of the community, right? So I don't think that's a secret anymore. That's way past. Oh my God, Tyler Perry's what? Only a fat church girl in Mississippi probably didn't know that Tyler Perry gets down with the get down. The point of that is, the guy probably was either promised the role or thought if he got on his knees and serviced Tyler Perry that he would get a deal. He probably thought, oh, if I take care of Mr. Perry, I'm going to be in one of his new movies. So it probably didn't happen, or maybe the guy didn't allegedly get the role he wanted. This is all alleged. And He said, okay, well, I'm gonna come out and tell the truth about this stuff. Tyler Perry trying to do something to me. It is always these cases, and then you find out that this stuff happened in 2004, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. I'm like, why didn't you say nothing then? It's always crazy to me that when people don't end up getting the payday they want, then somehow now they're victims. And I'm not saying they're not victims, but you knew what you was getting yourself into. It takes me all the way back to the girl that went back to the room back in the 90s in Indianapolis when Mike Tyson was at the height of his career, and they put Mike Tyson in jail, even though the girl came to his room at 3, 4 in the morning. Oh, I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought we were going to bake cookies and talk about oatmeal recipes. Bitch, please. You knew he was going to make you drop down and get your eagle on as soon as you got in that damn room. It is crazy to me, though. The crazy part of all of this is, why do people keep putting themselves in this position? And I'm talking about the athletes. How do you keep finding yourself in these positions with these types of chicks, money hungry, gold digger, opportunist type motherfuckers? Now we have a whole new world of streamers who are going through this same thing. But haven't we learned the lesson? No, because pussy has power. You see some little cutie with a little booty and you lose your mind every single time. It doesn't matter what community you're in, it doesn't matter what color they look like, doesn't matter the age. It will never not happen because sex is so destructive, so provocative. It has this evil hold over you. Even though you know it would kill your career, probably get you in prison, this shit still keeps happening. If we didn't learn anything from all the trials from the century with athletes and stars and celebrities that get caught up in this stuff, it's to not touch anybody. If you think something's going on, make an exit strategy. And if you can, film the whole thing. This is why you just have to walk away. It doesn't matter what they look like. Once you hit a certain level, you can't play anymore. It's not like me, who's nobody that nobody knows exists, even though I wouldn't touch anybody anyway because I'm not that thirsty for it. And I'm still semi-attractive. Like I'm a solid 4 or 5, so I can still get some ass or dick whenever I want it, right? But I think the celebrities, while they're attractive, they no longer can have genuine relationships anymore. Because to be honest, if you know who these people are, you know what you're up against. You know you're going like for example, if I want to date an NBA player, I already know what it is, and I know what type of time I'm gonna be on. Am I going to set him up? Absolutely not. But I want to benefit from some of the things he has. I want to drive around in the Maybach. I want a Mercedes truck, or I want to be on a shopping spree. I want to get flued out to Dubai every other weekend. I'm not going to be fucking with no NBA player or NFL player because I like this motherfucker. For one, he's going to 90% chance be an idiot. He's going to be bombaric. He's not going to like me like that. At least it's not going to be exclusive. Like, just because you're a cute, mixed Puerto Rican, Mexican, white woman does not mean he's going to treat you well. You would have to know that 99% of these athletes are the definition and the epitome of what you think an athlete is. Like some people say, I am who you think I am. One, you're a man. With about men are trash anyway, for the most part, whether they're rich or poor. We know that. We know that most men are trash anyway. There's only probably 20% of men that are solid dads and good, wholesome people. We know the rest of us are pretty awful, myself included, especially when it comes to monogamy or being in a good, solid relationship. Most of us don't care about that kind of thing anyway. We don't. We can say we do. We can say we love. We can say we want to be with you the rest of our life. All that shit they put in the vows that you know they're not going to honor. And on the other flip side of that, most shorties like, well, he got a good job. That's why I'm getting with him. And you know what makes it even worse? The internet has made this even worse. It's like a plague going on right now. That's why you see if you're on social media. I'm really too old to be on social media, but I'm kind of inundated around people that are in the space of where social media is the most present thing in their life, right? I have employees that are young. I have people in my family that are young. Like it's just inundated. The social media, the internet is just like it's got a chokehold on us, and that's not going anywhere anytime soon, right? Unless AI puts us out of our misery. But most of us know how the world it is, how it's going to be, which is why I don't understand why people continue to get married. It's fraudulent. And if you disagree with that, look up any statistics on any website, anywhere, court of law, the increased amount of divorce filings. You know, some states you have to separate. Just imagine the ones that if they didn't have to separate first, like I think like the state of Georgia and a few others, you have to separate first and then you can get a divorce. But divorce rates are like in the 70 percentile because social media has a chokehold on what we think a real relationship is. People say, oh, my granny and my grandpa stayed together 100 years. Well, they didn't have any outside noise. They didn't have any outside influence making them like, oh, girl, leave that motherfucker. People will leave somebody in a New York minute over just about nothing. So why do it anyway and get taken to the cleaners? Especially if you got a little change in your pocket, you should never be fucking getting married. Under no circumstances is it worth getting married. It is outrageously expensive to be inside of a marriage. It is which it's why women become wealthy because they benefit off of marriage. There's not a whole lot of people out here just getting to the bag, especially if you're a woman. No, you know to get to that bag is to marry somebody with a bag and take their bag. Because no, most women, I believe, don't have any intent on staying in a true relationship. And why the fuck would they? Especially when men are garbage anyway. But you might as well marry the most profitable piece of shit because you're going to get something out of it. I just wholeheartedly believe on one side or the other that nobody is really truly committed to their vows. I don't believe that. You know why I believe that? Because I haven't seen a really good example of what that looks like. I haven't. I haven't seen a solid marriage yet where somebody that I know, and I'm only talking about people I know. I'm sure there's probably one marriage out there in Connecticut, and there's probably one good one in Indianapolis. But for majority of the people I know, somebody's on the other side doing something that I personally know that they're doing. I do know I have a friend who I call my sister. Her and her husband are rock solid. That's the one example I know. For all others, somebody has cheated right up into the wedding date. I know a few real examples where the other person is literally fucking somebody else right now. It is alarming how many people are pressurized into getting married in the first place. And this all circles back to why I'm saying this is because the people who hung around Diddy and all the rappers and all this shit, because it was a setup from the beginning. We are going to admit, I think we all are in agreement that Diddy is a maniac and he's disgusting and he was wrong in what he was doing. But I think we could also agree that some of the people there allow this to happen to them for a payday. I would 1,000% believe that. You can't tell me, you can say, oh, this motherfucker's a freak, he's freaking off and blah, blah, blah. But yet y'all still going to all this stuff. Y'all still enjoying all this stuff because it's accommodating, it's rich, it's wealth. Who doesn't want to be validated by celebrity? You can say anything you want bad about this shit, but most of us, given the opportunity, would be at a Diddy's party on our knees or on our back, getting freaked down. There are people that are making joke about it right now, like, oh my God, I wish I was there, I wish I was a part of it. I would love a payday. I would love a payout from getting pissed on by Diddy. Even if $1 million, do you know that would be life changing? The things I could do with $1 million, my whole world would change. And getting peed on by Diddy is 100% worth it, in my opinion. 6,000,000% worth it. Why would you not do it if you had the opportunity to do it? Now, is it vile and disgusting? Is it my morals don't align with it? I can't do it. I have Bible study. I'm one of the good Christians, Bible Belt America. I get all that. But child, given the opportunity, you won't admit this. I will for you. Given the opportunity, you would be at a freak off. You would. You would. You're not going to say that. And I'm not talking about all the normal people who already got a little piece of change, like a news anchor or maybe somebody who's a pastor's wife, or even though they might. But I'm talking about the average person who is out here struggling and needs some money. Most of us out here who is needing a bag would make every attempt, if given the opportunity, to get that bag. I just want you to sit in that for a minute. This is why marriage is such an opportunity. If you know your man has got it, why would you not go try to get it? And I'm of the belief that marriage should be beneficial. Marriage should be an opportunity. Now, I'm not saying go run him up like that, but I'm just like, if you're struggling, get married because you're going to win. Now, I'm not talking about getting married to Fred, who's down at the bakery working, making $8 an hour. That's not going to be. That's going to be a headache because chances are you're going to have to pick his ass up. You're going to have to share some of your money. He's going to come home tired. He's going to be in a bad mood. He may blow your backside. He may have the best dick ever, but that's no financial gain by marrying Fred unless he owns the bakery. But if you are a woman and you look decent, say you're a solid 7 or 8, because there's very few 10s out there. Let's just be honest. That's a whole nother thing we can talk about in a minute. And I can address that for you because a lot of people are like, what do you mean? It's not a lot of 10s, right? I'm nowhere near, I'm about a 4 at best. And I'm a 5 if I put on a little foundation and comb my eyebrows and hold my stomach in. Most people ain't even a 10. But the point is, if you are a decent woman, a 7 or 8, go find you a nigga, go find you a white man, go find you an Indian if they'll date you, an Asian if they'll date you. Go sit at a beautiful hotel lobby and get to that bag. There is no reason for a woman to be out here struggling. My sister used to, I can't find anybody. Bullshit. You got a pussy, you got power. Everybody knows that's not some new fact. That's not some new commonality that we didn't know existed. Child, if you are a woman, even with saggy breast, you're gonna be able to find somebody. If the internet hasn't taught us anything, it's like if you got a pussy, you got power. And that's not even a new concept. I knew that back in the 90s in high school because I've seen how all the people, I wouldn't call them homeboys, it's people I knew and went to school with. If they seen even a portion of ass or a titty pop out, they lose their mind. That's why I don't understand why women are broke. Big girls. All the big girls I know are married. So it ain't because of weight. Everybody can make fun and laugh about it. But if you look at these big influencers, all of them got rings and stuff on. All of them got some man taking care of them and loving on their big asses. You really don't even have to be that cute if you got a pussy. It's a fact. It's just what it is. And then the same on the flip side with men. If you got a big ass dick and you blowing back shots out, you're going to be able to get taken care of too. I know a guy right now, and I won't say his name, but he's a friend. And he can get most women. He's a solid 7, 8. And then when you live in a small town, your numbers even go up even higher because in the small town in the Midwest, he's a 9. Now in California, he'd be a 6. But in the Midwest, he's a solid 9. And he's tall. And women go crazy over him. He treats them like shit. He talks to them any kind of way. He can use them the way he wants to, live in their houses. He's an American gigolo. Chances are, if you're a solid 7 plus with a nice sized dick, you're going to be able to benefit the same as a woman would. We all know somebody like this. Like, yeah, bro, he get it. He driving her car. She going to work while he lay up smoking hookah in her house, living the motherfucking dream. Women primarily get the benefit from that, but there are a sad group of men who get the same benefit as women. The world is just what the fuck it is, and people will know they're getting fucking played. People will know they're getting played and will still do it. Just this fucking weekend, I knew what it was, but I still brought around the drinks for these little young motherfucking dudes at the club. Now, when I say young, I mean like 20 something, because I'm old as fuck. Like I'm old. So anybody 25 and under is a kid to me, right? So it was these 20-plus-year-old dudes, and they wanted a drink. They bar hop to get OGs like me to pay for them in the community. It works the same way in the gay community, the bisexual, the GLBTQ plus, or whatever all the letters are now. If you are out and about and you have something to give in terms of looks and aesthetics and youth and pretty, you're going to win. You're going to 150% win. If you have aesthetically pleasing looks. It's just a fact of the matter. This is not some groundbreaking news from CNN or MSNBC or Fox. If you are aesthetically pleasing in any capacity, you really shouldn't be broke. You really don't have to fucking work. And if you do go out, like say you have a job, you should never pay. You're just not gonna pay. You gotta get in sections, you're gonna be gorgeous. Even when you motherfucking know what's happening, even if they ask you, you're like, okay, sure, I don't give a fuck. Now, if I'm in a mood, I'm not doing it, right? I don't trick. Sometimes I like to show out and say, oh, look at me, my money. I got some money and I'm about to blow a bag on a little cute little motherfucker. Sometimes it's a good time. For the sake of a conversation, you might buy a drink. But I know what they want and I know what I'm on, right? You are literally out just to be outside. You are literally out just to get what the fuck you want. It works on the same. That's why a lot of old creepers, because Diddy, I consider him and Harvey Epstein and all them and whatever the fuck, all the other weirdos out there, R. Kelly's or all the other names that we don't even know. It's a lot of people that prey on people, even when they know what's happening. And then the preyees is who I have a bigger problem with because you know exactly what's going to happen to you. And then somehow you become the victim. You know what you up to. The girl in the 90s that went to Mike Tyson's room knew what she was up to. But you get a hefty payout for it. Unfortunately, now these celebrities are motherfucking going to jail. There's a premium to pay with being a creeper. But if you want to pay for play, just be careful doing it. Don't be doing no weird shit like Diddy did and trying to get prostitutes and take them across the world and transport them for freak off. See, some of this stuff is just too much, right? Now, some of us would do some stuff at a freaking party, but once you start transporting me and making me sell my body, now you do need to go to jail because now you're some kind of other weirdo. All that other stuff of getting, as long as we consent, because if I let you pee on me, I've consented to that. Am I gonna want to pay? I expect to pay that. I do. Now, if I let Fred at the bakery pee on me, no, I'm just a nasty motherfucker, and I know I ain't getting shit. If I let Diddy pee on me, I want $1.5 million. I'll take a $500,000. It'll give me another condo downtown in some Midwestern city. Hell, I can find a cute condo in Chicago for a $500,000. That's worth pee. And you would get peed on too, bitch, for a $500,000. Shut the fuck up. For all of you in the comments or people judging, you would get peed on. You would do a freaking party. I don't agree with raping and prostitution and drugging and all that shit. No, that's ridiculous. You should be in prison. In fact, you should be under the prison. Once you start taking control of somebody's mind and body and soul and all that, all bets are off, especially if they're underage. I don't know if any of that was in the report because I don't believe that was talked about. This is not an R. Kelly type trial. This is more of transportation and engaging in prostitution. The other points were, did Cassie benefit from being beat up? Did she put in the work? Because a lot of people believe she put in the work to get this $33 million settlement. Don't blame her. Now, I can't speak for her. This is alleged, right? I can't speak for her. But on the outside looking in, because the outside is where I remain because I'm not cute as she is. But if I were cute as her, I would have loved to be in that position. Be mad about it if you want to. I would take that ass whooping, that beat down, that getting tricked out, not drugged now. And I don't know if he drugged her. Some people allege that he did. But if I could benefit because I'm cute, I 1,000% would. I would. That's my take on it, right? If I could benefit from Diddy, I would. So anyway, the trial will be wrapping up. It was like, to me, this was like just as big. If you live long enough, this was about as big as Mike Tyson, O.J. Simpson. These are very polarizing type of trials. I don't know, because obviously I wasn't in the courtroom, but I don't know how you could be split on. I really thought that he was going to be a goner. I really, really did. I thought there's no way that he would be able to survive this. I don't also know, though, but it speaks to the mindset of some people, millionaires and billionaires. How in the world do you get yourself in a position where this is even a thing? I know a lot of people don't care about that, but I sit and I always wonder how these basketball boys, celebrities, these millionaires, Diddy almost a billionaire, how they end up getting themselves in these positions where they have lost control due to lust, where they get so vile that they're in these positions where they're even in court or even in prison. I don't get it. I don't know if, here's what my thought is, and I think you're probably thinking this too. I think a lot of people, once you get a certain amount of money, you're above the law, and you don't think anything is going to happen to you. You don't think you'll ever be caught up. You don't think you'll ever be challenged, and many of them don't. I don't think Diddy, Epstein, Tyson, and all the other people before him on rape allegations, bullying, abuse, substance abuse, Bill Cosby type shit. They're not isolated. I think it's just a lot of them we don't know about because a lot of them never talk about it. If you look at the cases when the Bill Cosby shit was blowing up, people were coming out from the '70s like, oh my God, the guy from I Spy and the Cosby's done all this. Because a lot of people don't challenge authority. My friend and I were talking about this moments before I start recording this. We don't. I even believe, here's why I say this. I'll even add more context to the normal. We don't even challenge abusive bosses at our regular 9 to 5 because we feel powerless. So imagine going up against the R. Kelly, the Bill Cosby, the Diddy machine, the Elvis Presley machine, all of those powers that be, and they're on a big global platform where they have all this protection and people surrounding them saying, oh, you don't question this. Pull your panties down, pull your drawers down, do this, serve me. You don't question me, bitch. Go get me a drink. How many people would be glad to be in that position of getting abused by a celebrity? More than you think. And they walk away with nothing and they don't say anything. There are celebrity chefs that have heard things, but they go fry the chicken and get the fuck out of there. Happens all the time. I know a personal celebrity chef and the stories she has. But when you sign that confidentiality thing, I don't know when that goes out the window because to me, breaking the law, that should be, we throw that NDA out the window. Right? No, it doesn't happen. That's why you have a number of people that are in these spaces and places that are victimized over and over again and saying nothing. I've worked for abusive leaders, not physically, but they were mentally, well, verbally, not mentally, verbally abusive, but I walked away. I'm a big black man, so I don't get fucked with a lot anyway, but I don't put up with shit anyway. I mean, unless it's a really nice salary, right? Like, but again, we stick around for money. We throw our morals and values out the fucking window. The minute somebody says, well, here's the check for this, or you're going to get paid $212,000. And it's just not men that do it. It's not just white men that do it. I worked for a black lady at a non-for-profit, but I made a shit ton of money. I was a young guy out of college making $125,000, and I wasn't even 30 yet. I was helping run the operation side of an organization, but she was a horrible boss. Sexually explicit, invited me to her home, screamed at me, threatened me every chance she got. She was a wild woman. You think that got reported? Absolutely not, because I got a hefty payday. I think I was 26, 27 years old, making $125,000. And that was 20 some years ago. Do you know how much $120 some thousand dollars is in the early fucking 2000s? Now, not so much. I mean, that's still good money. But back in 99 or 2005, $100 and some thousand dollars, you were fucking rich. So you shut the fuck up. And many people do. And I was a big man who could take care of myself. It was just a part of it to me. And I justified, I'm like, well, shit, I'm getting paid. I don't give a fuck. She can do this and do that. And I allow things to happen. Many of us do. Right now, there is a lot of stuff that is happening that's not just that it's celebrity. It's like these people are making normal salaries and getting taken advantage of, getting abused, getting yelled, getting touched at, just like they were at the 50s when women would go to water fountains and men would pinch their ass and grab their butts or put their dick print on them. That shit is still happening today because people are in fear of losing their career or being isolated, or some people just don't. Let's be honest. Some people just don't want to go to trial. Some people just don't want to deal with HR. Some people just like, oh my God, I'm not filing a complaint. It happened, but I'm gonna move on with my life. Think about how many cases you don't hear about. Think about how many people go home and sit in silence and never deal with it. Think about how many people deal with sexual assault or abuse or verbal or physical at their workplace or by somebody they know, and just they don't even give a fuck. They was like, oh my God, it is what it is. I'm not even gonna worry about it. He grabbed my ass at work. Yeah, it sucked, but if I make noise about it, now I gotta go through trial. Now I'm gonna have time off or he's gonna get fired. And now I gotta go file a complaint. All the antics that go with that shit, some people just don't want to deal with. And that's why I believe this Diddy trial, people were coming out of the woodworks. But some people aren't because they were complicit in it and they're not gonna say anything. They're like, shit, I don't want to let nobody know that Diddy fucked me. I think there were some men that were abused, allegedly abused, who are never going to speak out on that. There are rappers that get probably sexually assaulted all the time that are not going to speak out because they don't want to speak. Oh no, I ain't no gay. I'm not no homo type shit. This shit happens all the time and it's never stopped and it probably never will. As long as there are power players who can pay to play, they're going to play. It is so easy to do. If you have any money in the nightclub, chances are you're going to get somebody to come home with you. Go test the theory right now and pull out a band at a nightclub or a social lounge, and it is a high probability somebody is coming home with your black ass, your white ass, your Asian ass. That's why people like flexing their money because it's power. You get the men who want to be your friends and the women who want to be your bitches. I've tested this theory more than once. I was like, if I was taking care of all this, you wouldn't mind if I had a couple of you and your friends and we do a thing. And everybody I've ever asked that it's been a resounding yes. Every time. The only difference between me and all these other high profilers is I'm too poor to go crazy. I have to ask permission to get crazy. Because one, I just don't want to rape nobody. It's never even been on the radar to take ownership. That's just weird. But when you don't have the millions of dollars like the Diddy's and all these other NFL players, I don't get to just do whatever the fuck I want. I'm like, hey, you want to do this? You and your homeboy, homegirl want to have a freak off? Like, when you poor, you have to ask for permission. When you have money, you don't. And I know that is crazy, but that is the world we live in. I know it's like, wait a minute, what the fuck? Yes, you. Yeah, we could all say yes, you do. But that's why you see a million girls online. And I'm talking about women. I'm talking about people of age. I ain't talking about kids. So when I say girls, I mean grown people, 18 and up is what I'm saying. So let's get that out of the way. But this is why you see these women or young ladies online lining up almost butt naked when they see a rapper or an NBA or a football player come out of a club. They're just waiting. They're waiting to be used so they can get what the fuck they want. They're not there because they're like, oh my God, good game. They don't give a fuck. Has anybody ever been to an all-star weekend? Like the one that just happened in Indianapolis recently, or a NFL draft? Oh, please. It's like the Hunger Games. These bitches are lined up like they're giving out food stamps for free. They lined up like they are giving away mansions. Go to one. When they have the next All-Star weekend, pick a city, wherever it is next year. I don't know. It's probably Vegas or something. Have you ever been to a Super Bowl, a city that was hosting the Super Bowl? Go to one. And you will see a desert, eons of unlimited miles of bitches lined up waiting for an opportunity. Butt naked and smelling good. Waiting. Bunch of Bambis running around. Can't read. They don't know where the United States is if they looked at a fucking map to save their life. They don't even know what countries are in North America. But they're going to find out the weekend of who's getting possibly drafted, how much money this young man's gonna make, but they couldn't tell you where they live. But I guess some of those things don't matter when you know you get an opportunity to meet somebody who could change your life financially. Right? Like, this is why these women are going over to Dubai to get shitted on. Like, it's like, well, if I can get a $50,000 payday and all I got to do is let this Indian man shit on me, why not? Why would I not allow this man to shit on me if I'm gonna have a $50,000 payday? The state of the world we're in is no different than it's always been. Now we just have the access to it because we the internet has given us access to shit we didn't know we needed or knew we even had. But pay for play has been around forever. It just wasn't polarized like it is. We just didn't know it was happening. Your granny was outside doing some things for $50 back in 1957. Make no mistake about it. There's a lot of people in positions right now that dropped down and got their eagle on for that front office on the 98th floor with the view of the skyscraper. Whether you want to believe it or not, it is outrageously at the forefront of the world. People go to wars over sex and religion. That is how sex is. It is dangerously powerful. Just look up the statistics. You can get even crazier. Look at the Catholic Church and how they are so tempted by touching young boys. Not my words. You can look it up. Communities have subjected themselves to sex. And it's not just in the Catholic Church, it's in Baptist churches, in this kind of churches, in that kind of church, this kind of religion. There's preachers who have lost their entire careers and family over the temptation of sex. Male, female, gay or straight. Look it up. The cases are online. I'm not making this shit up. You can look at a lot of, especially in the rural communities and smaller communities, especially in the South. But it's not isolated to just that. It's not isolated to a storefront. There's huge congregations that take advantage of people. And they succumb to the temptations of sex because it's a drug, it's addictive. That's why I said it's dangerously powerful. And that's why people like Diddy and the Cosbys of the world and these other athletes, black and white and alike, get caught up in this shit over and over again. It's just what it is. And it's so outrageously unfortunate. And that's just one of the things going on. But I thought I wanted to clear that up because I'm not really interested in talking about the world of Diddy and the celebrity anymore. But I just figured since it's coming to an end or to a close date, you might want to keep your eyes open on the sentencing because that will also change the magnitude of how we move forward with celebrity and sex. So that's why this case is important. It's not just polarizing, but it's important because whatever this verdict is going to be, well, we know what the verdict is, but whatever the sentencing is going to be for what he's going to be charged on, like transportation of prostitutes and all that kind of stuff, that will be more telling than anything. What does the world think? And when I say the world, I mean these jurors, because they were in the room listening to this. What does our judicial system say about sex and celebrity? I do know if I was in that courtroom and I did it, I would have been in jail for the rest of my life. I guarantee it. That's why I said, what is it going to tell us about sex and celebrity? I guess we will find out what that means. And what is even more outrageous is people are calling for Donald Trump to fucking let him go. Let's pardon him. I'm like, do we know this is not a game? This is not a reality show. This is people's lives that were impacted by this sick behavior, allegedly. And you somehow, oh, let's just pardon him because he's Diddy and we like his stuff. We like his music. Like the fact that you would even think that's okay. Because I guarantee you, if your sister was in that room getting transported, getting taken around city to city, and getting her backs blown out, yeah, you wouldn't be feeling that way. But when it comes to celebrity and sex, it's not human, right? Because we don't see these people as we're desensitized to the human aspect of all of this. That's why it's so easy for many people to talk about. But if it was your cousin, your mama, your sister, your auntie, you'd be ready to shoot up the spot. But since it's not, you know what it is. Anyway, we'll end it there. When I come back on here next time, we're going to talk about some other stuff. The church and Black relationship and homosexuality in the church, and why it's okay to be gay depending on what you do in the church, and when it's okay to be gay and involved and imparting yourself with Black women. I'll explain what I mean by all of that. I know it's like, what is he talking about? Oh, I'm gonna tell you what I'm talking about, because there are many times when it's okay to be gay around Black women, and when it's other times it's not. And so we'll talk about that for 40 minutes on the next show, the next time I talk to you.